Hello, everyone. I'm making a vlog today because I want to discuss something that has happened to me and a bunch of my friends, and I think has affected a lot of people I know recently. And I don't think there's enough content or education on this subject, so I decided to make some content to educate people on this subject. Not because I think anyone's stupid, but because what I'm about to talk about can happen right under your nose and you may not know it's happening to you. So what I'm about to discuss is an emotional abusive relationship, or an emotionally abusive relationship, also called a psychologically abusive relationship or something. And the reason I wanted to make a video on it is because it's happened to a lot of my friends, and I feel like the reason people don't know it's happening is because there's not enough education on it. The very nature of the relationship is that the abuser basically brainwashes you into thinking that you're not being treated poorly, and the abusers themselves rarely will ever admit that that's what they're doing. So I find that I've had a few friends, and myself included, have had relationships dissolve, like serious long-term relationships dissolve, and then kind of wonder what went wrong. And then, you're telling your friends about it, and your friends are looking at you like, that is nuts. And you didn't realize that you were being treated in an bonkers way that has severely damaged your self-esteem and left you perhaps as a shell of a woman if you're anything like me. So I'll read you a definition. I took some notes, and I'm gonna make this nice. I'm just gonna make this a quick list of what I believe to be the key highlights that maybe you're being emotionally abused. Also, there are basically 100 ways that you can be emotionally abused, and I've only listed 12 here. I was gonna make it 10, but then there were 12 that I really thought should be highlighted. So I'm just going to read them, and, if you're probably not, you probably have not even gotten to this far in the video if you don't care about this, so bye. But if you do care about it and you think that maybe your relationship might be a little off, no judgment, been there, and I'm just going to read you some things about it. So basically, emotional abuse is a way of treating someone that slowly erodes their self-worth in order for the abuser to gain control over you, basically making you feel like shit so that you trust them and are too insecure to do otherwise or leave them or anything. The person being abused often develops coping mechanisms. So if you are the person being abused, you'll develop coping mechanisms to regulate this behavior and kind of justify it to yourself to make you think it's normal. But oftentimes there will be things you won't be telling your friends just because you are a perceptive person that probably can realize that this is not happening to everybody. And on the other side of it, the abusers will blatantly deny that they are abusing you, or if they are telling you they're abusing you, it's usually to tell you that they're about to change to get you back because you're about to dump them. So that's kind of what the deal is. So to summarize that sentence, if you're in a relationship where your partner is constantly putting you down or making you feel less than good about yourself, which is already a red flag, but when you're in these things, you can't tell that that's happening or that it's bad because you regulate it. Then that is the first step of being emotionally abused. So now I'm going to read you 10 or 12 signs that this is going down. 1, constant criticisms. If your partner is constantly criticizing you, and in subtle ways, they don't need to be saying crazy things to you. They could be saying just normal shit that is with the sole intention of putting you down. There's no other reason to say it. For example, your partner might say something to you like, wow, you're a messy eater. Or, oh my God, you're so clumsy. Wow, your laugh is so annoying. Or just random little things like that that will just get in your head with the intention of just making you feel like crap. Obviously, there is no reason to point out if someone's laugh is annoying when you're already dating them. You're dating me, so I don't know, dump me if you hate my laugh that much. But it's not that they hate your laugh that much. It's that they are finding anything they can find to basically just chip away at your self-worth until you are less than nothing and depend on them for all of your validation in life. And then you'll never leave them, and then they can have full control over you. So that's number 1. 2, these people are often jealous and possessive. They could monitor your phone calls, emails. I don't know why they do that. I guess they could. That's normal too, but yeah. Okay, so phone calls, emails, text messages, your communication with others. They might make comments about your friends and go through lengths to isolate you from your friends or family. And basically, they're just really jealous people. They'll want to know where you are a lot of the time. They'll randomly assume weird shit. Like if someone calls you, they might say like, oh, who was that? Oh, really? Let me see. Or something like that, which is something my ex-boyfriend used to do, which I would always let him see who it was because I was whipped by him. So number 3, this one is classic. These people will repeatedly ignore your boundaries or requests for something. So if someone says something to you that upsets you all the time, let's go back to number 1. Let's say your boyfriend or girlfriend says that you're a messy eater all the time. And you eventually say, okay, this is how I eat, so get with it or dump me. I don't want to hear about it anymore. That person will just keep bringing it up because they know it bugs you. Like they'll just ignore that you've said that and continue on whatever path they were on to destroy you. One that happened to me was my ex-boyfriend would always say things to me like, why don't you just go fuck this person? Why don't you just go fuck this person? And he would just like make random people, like people we worked with, he would just be like, oh, you know what? I could see you guys together. Like, you should go fuck that person or go on a date with them. Like, when we were dating for like 2 years. And eventually I said to him, I was like, stop saying that. First of all, it's disrespectful because you clearly don't care about how much I care about you. And secondly, like, thanks for telling me who I should go fuck, tips. Like, I'm already fucking you. So, like, stop belittling my decision. And also, don't disrespect me in whoring me out. You should go fuck that person. Okay, sure, dick. Anyway, I would say that to him all the time. I'd be like, stop making comments about all the people I should go fuck. I'm your girlfriend, you fucking psychopath. And he just never did. Like, literally, this was a problem we had for years because he would just bring it up. Every time he got mad at me, he'd be like, oh, you like him so much? Why don't you go fuck him? And I'd be like, you know I hate that argument because it's stupid. So that's just an example on my end. Number 4. This one is seemingly obvious, but it's not because you will tolerate this if it happens to you enough. Blatant disrespect, name calling, saying things like, just saying crazy stuff to you. Like, I have a friend whose ex-boyfriend, like, she just broke up with him, but we were talking and she's like, he would say the craziest shit to me that I didn't think was crazy. Like, he said, you disgust me to her one time, or you're a shitty girlfriend, or go fuck yourself, or my personal favorite, you are a whore. Obviously there's male variations of this too. I'm just not well read in them because I'm not a boy. But if someone's blatantly disrespecting you like that in a way that like your best friends would not speak to you or people you actually have normal relationships with would not talk to you, you're probably being emotionally abused because there is no purpose that anybody should ever talk to someone like that. Short of me, I don't know, insulting your mother, there is no reason someone should be saying to me, you are a fucking shitty girlfriend who is also a whore and you disgust me. I just shouldn't be talked to like that. And neither should anybody. Number 5, gaslighting. Gaslighting is something I'm going to run through really quickly because if you don't know what gaslighting is, you gotta. Gaslighting is when someone distracts you from seeing what they did wrong by actually telling you it's something you did wrong. So basically, let me just quickly come up with an example here. Okay, here's like a really standard example. If your partner says something and it hurts your feelings and you start crying about it, and then your partner says, oh my God, you're so sensitive, that's gaslighting. That's taking the blame off of them and the thing they did wrong and putting it on you for how sensitive you are. And there's many variations of that, but basically, if you say to your boyfriend, I feel like it's kind of weird that you text all these girls, and he says something to you like, you are so sensitive and paranoid and psychotic. And now you're a psychotic girlfriend and he's a cool guy boyfriend who's just doing everything right, and he's taken the focus off his sketchy behavior and put it onto your paranoid, psycho, crazy bitch behavior, which is gaslighting. So if that's happening to you, there's many variations of it. So if something along those lines is happening to you, Google gaslighting because there are a million ways you can be gaslit. Okay. Number 5 or 6, love bombing. This one gets ya. This one got me. Love bombing is an abusive tendency where at the beginning of a relationship, the abuser will love bomb you, meaning they will just shower you with love and affection and praise, and it usually happens very quickly and it's very intense. Like, they'll say you are the most beautiful person I've ever met, and like you have like this really intense like connection and like sex life and like passion with each other, but really what's going on is it's probably not real because real love usually doesn't happen that quickly. I mean, it can. Don't get me wrong, it can. But it's basically a tactic. And what happens usually later in your relationship is you consistently, as the abused, try to get back to that point where you were being love bombed. And it's very confusing because at one point this person is treating you like more obsessed with you than anybody has ever been. And then later on, they're like calling you a whore and telling you that like you're like their mom and hanging up the phone on you. It's like, what happened? Okay, number 6. Goalpost moving. And sorry, I'm breezing through these because I don't want this to get too boring, but if any of these are happening to you, literally just Google them because there is way more information than I am currently giving. Number 6, goalpost moving. This is when your partner says something to you about, sets a goal, and then when you meet it, it's not good enough. So they move the goalpost a little bit back. So what's an example of this? Like maybe your partner will say, you know what, I would love it if you know what, you're almost perfect, but it would be better if you lost a few pounds in your arms. Okay, this is like a pretty brutal example, but this will happen. And then let's say you like work out and you lose all the weight in your arms, so you're perfect for them. And then they'll say, you're almost perfect, but I think you need to lose like a few more pounds in your legs. You know, I've seen this girl over here and she's got nicer legs than you, so you need to be more like that. Or like, that's just one realm. I'm like, when we're talking about like them controlling your body or whatever, but there's millions of ways they can move the goalposts. They'd be like, you'd be perfect if you could just learn to cook, and then you learn to cook. And then they find something else wrong with you. You'd be perfect if you were, you know, if you could, you'd be perfect if you could like get along better with my mom, and then you get along better with their mom, and then they're like, but you know, it's still annoying because you're fat. And then you're like, okay, then you get not fat, whatever. There's like a million ways that this goalpost could be moved around on you. So that's one, when basically a aggro way of saying when it's never enough. There will always be a problem with you to your abusive partner. 7, intolerant to criticism or lack of respect, can't handle teasing, and takes themselves very seriously. However, they will do all of those things to you. They will criticize you, tease you, not take you seriously, and blatantly disrespect you, and that's all kosher. But as soon as you say anything to them, they get really either angry or sulky about it, which is a classic. Like, that's how they react to being criticized. They'll get really sulky or pissed off at you, and then you're just like, fuck, I don't know. 8, uses guilt. This kind of comes after number 7, both numerically and causally. 8, uses guilt or shaming to get their way. So if you do say something to them like, you know what, you're actually being an asshole to me, they'll guilt you into thinking the opposite. Well, you know, like my mom did this to me when I was little, or, well, you know, like school's been so hard on me and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? You're actually so insensitive to what I've gone through in my entire life. I can't believe you're even bringing this up after like what I've gone through. Classic guilt and shaming, so that you kind of forget your point and then go back to feeling sorry for them because they are always the victim, always playing the victim, and it's always your fault and basically never theirs. And if you even kind of imply that it's their fault, they will deny it. They're like, no, you're fucked. Like, you are the one that's insensitive to my needs. And you're like, jeez. This one, and okay, number 9. This one is my least favorite. This is the one that pissed me off the most, and in the end was the one that made me leave my man. So, withholding. This is when, as a punishment to a way you've been acting, they withhold themselves emotionally or physically from you. So my ex-boyfriend would literally, this is 24-year-old me, my prime, 22 to 24, hot years. I mean, I'm still having some hot years, but hot years for me. And if he was mad at me for whatever reason, we'd like go to bed and I'd like try and put the moves on him, and he would just be like, I just don't feel like it tonight. Do you know what that did to my self-esteem? Like, you don't feel like it tonight. And if I ever said, why? I just don't feel like it tonight. In a lot of these circumstances, when you're being withheld from, these people will not tell you what you did wrong. And that's punishment. The silent treatment is punishment. If your partner puts you through the silent treatment, that is emotionally abusive behavior. To do something, if someone treats you like you did something wrong and then doesn't tell you what you did wrong and just blatantly punishes you for it, that is incorrect, emotionally abusive, rude and mean behavior. That is a bad thing to do to someone. If you really pissed me off and I just didn't talk to you and you're my friend and I'm just not telling you and I'm never going to tell you, but I'll still have you over and whatever, but I'm just distant for the rest of my life, that's for the rest of our relationship, that is abusive. That's just not how you treat someone, whether they've pissed you off or not. And 9 out of 10 times you didn't actually piss them off. They just started feeling insecure about something, make it your fault, and then start ignoring you and not having sex with you all of a sudden, even though you're their girlfriend and you're gorgeous. The hell? 10, I'm almost at 12, don't worry. 10, Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde, man. You never know what you're going to get with these people. Sometimes, like, you'll have a really good day with them and you're like, oh my God, like, we are so in love and it's so passionate because you probably had a bunch of bad days with them. And then the next day, you're just in a bad place again and you're always starting from zero and you never know what you're going to get or what's going to set them off because something will always set them off. Remember what I said about goalpost moving? You think you just got everything right and then all of a sudden they're ignoring you again and you're like, what the fuck? What did I do now that you're ignoring me again? What are you mad about now, buddy? Jekyll and Hyde. Textbook emotional abuser. 11. Oh fuck, what did I write here? Blames you for their behavior. Blames you for their emotionally abusive behavior and any of their life problems. My ex-boyfriend once said to me that I am the reason he's losing his hair. No, fam, that's genetics. And this has nothing to do with emotional abuse, but he would always tell me that he was losing his hair, and he's like, I know I'm going to lose my hair. My dad lost his hair. But upon further research, you only lose your hair if your maternal grandfather lost his hair. And I know for a fact that his maternal grandfather has a full head of hair, so he's not even losing his hair. Asshole. I wish I had that argument ready at the time, but also it doesn't matter because he was totally there was no argument that was going to win with him. So regardless, but they'll blame their behavior on you. You know, I'm not like this with anybody else. You bring this out in me. You make me angry. You make me crazy. And also I'm like failing at school because of you. And I can't do my essays and I'm not working out and I have not slept since I started dating you. That's all I got to say about that. Number 12, and this is the final one, and I honestly think it's like the most important. You are not having a good time. You're just not having a good time. There's more bad times than good times. You're crying all the time. You're not even that much of a crier, and somehow you're always fucking crying. You're being treated in a way that you are not treated in any other aspect of your life. You're being told you're crap when you're good at your job. You're a good friend. You're a good daughter. Everybody else likes you except this person causes you problems. That is the sign of a unhealthy and likely emotionally abusive relationship. If you are just having a straight up bad time with someone that treats you like crap, maybe one night you go out with your friends and you're relieved and you realize like, fuck, why am I having a better time than I was with my boyfriend earlier today? That is a telltale sign that you are, regardless, in a relationship you shouldn't be in, because a relationship is a choice. It's not like you're born, like a relationship with your family when you're younger isn't so much a choice, but a relationship with your boyfriend is something you choose to be in that should add to your life. Life already has enough problems, like the weather we're having right now, or making enough money to pay rent, or finding a job you like, or living a life that's fulfilling as well as passionate. Like, you have enough issues that you can't control. Your relationship is something you can control. So anything you have the control to bring into your life should be something that's adding to it, not taking away from it, and making you feel like a psychopath crap lord every single day. Leaving these relationships is riddled with self-doubt, which is a direct quote I took from Reese Witherspoon from her interview with Oprah. Because Oprah asked her what the hardest thing she ever did in her life was, and she said it was leaving her emotionally abusive relationship. Emotional abuse, this is just a fact, emotional abuse often, as much as it goes under the radar, it often, I don't want to quote anything because I don't know the exact number, but often in the end will result in physical abuse. Many people that are emotionally abused will have a harder time getting over it than physical abuse, because getting out of the relationship is something that you doubt through the whole time. You're often left after the relationship feeling like a piece of crap. What I described it as is someone came into my brain as if it were a house, trashed the house, and then dipped, and then I was still left with a messy house even after they were gone, because my whole view on myself and what kind of person I was completely distorted. And I was a completely different person afterwards. That could be a different vlog. What happens when you get out of it is a different vlog. I just wanted to draw attention to the signs of emotional abuse because, like I said, me and my friends have been in these relationships where we did not realize how inappropriately, insanely terrible we were being treated, and how it's not normal and not acceptable in any aspect of your life. Your friends cannot talk to you like you're trash, or at least they shouldn't also. Your family shouldn't talk to you like they're trash. Your boss shouldn't talk to you like you're trash, telling you that you're shit and everything's your fault all the time, and then not talking to you one day, or whatever the signs are. And there's obviously different versions of this, and you don't have to have all of these to be emotionally abused. You could have even just one or two of them. I happen to have 75 of them because I'm a lucky girl, but you could have way less and it could still be considered an abusive relationship. So I think that brings me to 20 minutes, which is already too long. I've probably lost so much of your attention. I just wanted to say some stuff about this because it's crazy. And maybe if you knew at the time, like all my friends when we got out of it were like mind blown at what had happened. Like, oh God, this is like an abusive relationship. You just don't think that's what it is at the time. And yeah, I guess that's my point. That's my whole point, I guess. So yeah, enjoy this weird video. And if you are concerned after you watch this because you think maybe you might be in one of these or have just gotten out of one of these, feel free to message me on Facebook. And as I said, Google and do your research, because this is such a hack version. This is such a hack version of education in general. So yeah, take care of yourselves. You come first, and no one should ever be making you feel like crap about yourself. That's probably the whole point of everything I just said. All right. Love you all, I think.